Give me silver, blue, and gold, the color of the sky and stone. My rainbow is overdue.
Talk about living high in your, Rocky Mountain sky, wherever you happen to be there, you've already taken off and, got to fly on, man. With this guy, Grandpa Coyote, yeah, your best friend here on the radio, man, don't you know? The Hazy Radio Network, you want to get it clear. Tune into the center of the universe here. Yeah, that's right, hazyradio.com. Ooh, worldwide, babies, we got it on. How about that? Yeah. And now so do you with Grandpa and a whole raft of angels and ancestors. You would not, and the universe too, you would not believe the cheering I hear going on here in the bleachers of love that surround us. Do you realize this is why some people kind of believe in the flat earth thing, because it really is kind of like, each life, of course, you're lived in a great big stadium, man, like a football stadium or the Coliseum, only big, big, big. A billion people can fit in there real easy. And there's all sizes, shapes, conditions, and forms of them, too, from all across the universe. Talk about the colors of the rainbow in dynamic display. There's all these beings gathered in this huge stadium, called love, of course, spaceship love, love stadium. I mean, it all goes together now, don't it? Don't call it Love Field, it's a stadium, man, And there in the center of that stadium is a glowing kind of screen where you'd have the grass if you was playing football, man, with all the lines on it and crap, Well, instead of that, you got this great big kind of elongated and kind of ovaled up, humped up, kind of like, clear, crystalline looking kind of screen thing there, man. That's your life right there, see. That's you or me or one little individual human, And we all have, these are the bleachers I talk about, all these souls, man. Not just watching like you would a ball game or a TV show, but getting totally involved in the action, Jackson. So there's energies afloat there that are pulling you this way and that. Because each, one side of the audience wants you to go this side, one side wants you to go that. You see, we kind of polarize it out a bit, so, we'd have a little dynamic to play with, Well, how are you going to enjoy the colors of the rainbow if you just don't get out there and live in them? And bring them into yourself and start to glow like the rainbow and be glittery like that. So there's a lot of encouragement, and that's what it really is. See, we're just like an audience participation game going on here, man, where, they can affect the reality too. All conscious presence contributes to the life you're living. But you're the conscious presence in the personal form that gets to determine the way, despite all of the influence, because you got to remember, they're an audience, man. They're participating in a less than a direct way, you see. So they can only have an influence. They can't control or contain the flow in any way, but they can influence, you see. So if the river's going that way and we think it ought to go that way, they'll, put their influence to move it that way, and maybe it'll do it. Maybe the river's picking up on the love and you'll flow in a new direction because all of your little helpers and friends in your vast audience really want you to seriously be free, Especially on a Friday, man. This is the day when you go to punch in on the clock, the damn thing disappears and you hear a voice, and lights all around you and you hear a voice saying, "Get the hell out of here. What are you doing, man? Get back in that vehicle and drive away." And so you do. And the boss is standing there at the steps of the big office where you were supposed to be loading trucks in the back warehouse, man. He's hanging his arms to the side because the secretaries just walked out too, and the presidents and the vice presidents, and here's the plant manager. He's got nothing to do. There's no plant to manage anymore. It's a ghost town there. See, you started to flow. You didn't realize how significant you were, see? You got an influence too, baby. You can't make others move in any particular direction, but you got an influence, baby. And when you're realizing your experience as the center of this creation, in other words, it's not necessarily that, we create in this, let's say analytical way. I want this, I want that. Babies, we're flowing in something that goes way beyond anything that could be analytical or even analyzed. Just like there's a billion souls or so helping us out and sending all this energy our way and the influence that goes with it, we're doing the same thing inside our heart, inside of ourself, inside of the creation we lived in. See, we are the influence in creation. Influence is creation. Our desire to have it in a certain way. Our desire to be, let's say peaceful for a change. And content. And downright tickled right to the marrow of our bones, happy. Because we're so damn content. And because of that, our restless nature turns more in the direction of what? Partying down with some really sweet rock and roll. On the Coyote Medicine Show on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote. Our guest star G-Rule will be here in just a few minutes, man. We're looking forward to that. It's always nice when the angels float down from paradise and spend a little time with us, and we get some real rhythmic, dynamic, especially the feminine gender. Oh my goodness, babies, we need that here, don't we, babies? Except, hell, I'm grandma too, Pope Mary J., your buddy, helping you along the way at the beginning of your day, each and every day, Monday through Free Day Friday. Now you'll have to forgive me for some of the apparent subliminal programming that snuck in here, but we just wanted you to get it really clear that Free Day Friday, Free Day, Free Day, Free Day. Free Day is free day. Free Day, Free Day. It's a careless whisper, but baby, it means something. Don't it? See, we're queuing up through harmonies and rhythmic tribal beats of rock and roll and pop music and lots of entertaining tunage, music therapy, tunage that makes your heart loud, music therapy for your heart and soul to get you in the glow, man, especially when you get the multi-dimensional flow, when you start to feel it in a little different way than you ever did before, and then the hearing starts to clear up. Ooh, and you start to hear the more or less mystical dynamics by which the music is created and habitates forever its own little place in the time frame of reality, man. You betcha, man. It's like a nest egg, and so these rhythmic rock and roll harmonies and tribal drums that came to us from so long ago were so in the flow that people could only catch a little of it back then and get a little glow on, but now, baby, see, we've had a little time to ripen through it. Music, some of this stuff been around 50, 60 years already, a lot of it 30, 40, man, and it's just been growing, and one station goes down and don't play classic rock no more, the other 3 more pop up. It just keeps happening, because it's an expanding reality. That's the multi-dimensional side. That's seeing the influence, the gateway energy, really, in the music, in the tunage. Some of the simplest tunes, some of the dumbest, are some of the finest. And some of the brightest are, only a suggestion, a minor influence, yet look how badly they move you. Wow. We pumped you up this morning, and how, didn't we? I could feel it out there. There was some anxiousness in the air. It's Friday. The weekend's coming. The full moon's on the wane. The energy of the Antarctic opening is coming in and flowing all across the earth, and people are starting to, really honestly show up at work this morning, and the time clock just disappears as you try to put your little punch card in it. And, you got the voice, you got the direction, you got the flow. You feel your mother taking you in her arm up over your shoulders and guiding you right back out to the parking lot. And, baby, there's an exodus from the nefarious world of slavery, No more sweatshops, no more gravy jobs filled with corruption because you're the shipping boss and you determine who gets what and when. So people like to give you money to get favors from you. No more of that crap. Whatever level it's played at. No more of that crap. See, we don't need it. As we walk away, we're walking back into our own true reality. See, we're not taking anybody else's suggestion of what reality ought to be anymore. Least of all those that seem to think they want to control things around here. They don't understand the defiance of a coyote heart. and how expansive and loving that can be. Because as you're walking away, didn't I tell you the presidents and vice presidents were following you out? They're setting themselves free too. They're tired of the slavery. They're as much slave as you are. Sure, they get the more luxury. Big deal. That doesn't make any of it real. It's empty. It's hollow. There's no real reward. All the skullduggery, all the backstabbing, all the brown nose and AK you do, man, it doesn't get you anywhere. The higher you rise, the more you realize the shallow nature of it all, and the more you yearn for something way beyond it. You start to understand that real wealth has nothing to do with money or any of the normal situations we find ourselves in, really, except that each one of them indicates to us, you better get back on the loving path because you're not quite there. So that's what pain is, a great motivator to move back into the land of contentment, the land of dreams. These dreams, didn't the Wilson sisters, man, Heart, H-E-A-R-T, that's the name of their band, what does that tell you, baby? What's the multidimensional side of that, you see? They put the dream in motion when they sing about it. They put the vibrational tonnage of the Mother Earth's heart in it. There's magic beyond belief there, babies, in the music that you and your own heart created to cue yourself up in this time, so that you could become then a little more present in your creation and really start to appreciate it so it can straighten itself out a bit. We don't have to live it so opposite of one another, nor in opposition. You see, the whole family walks away from the establishment reality. And there isn't even a finger raised, though all of them ought to have them raised, and there isn't even a FU thought amongst them. There's just a happy little heart that says, it's starting to remember the child nature, that really, all it wants to do is play. And that's what it's going to do today. And I'm not talking about going out and getting debaucherous and drunk and everything. No. We're going back to our land of dreams, We're going to become the glittering, glowing life that we are. We're going to live in creation and be heart's creation and the creation of the heart, through which the rhythmic beat of our harmony brings a particular aspect of creation into being. And we get to live in it and experience it. That's what it's all about. Experience. That's why each human life has at least 1 billion souls experiencing along with it. It's so supreme, the experience here. No matter what aspects it takes. That's what makes it, so beautiful. Because it has a lot of wild swings in it. And unexpected departures from heart and soul, and the amazing coldness of, casual death, let's say. Not to mention the amazing other side of it. Because, see, when there's really heinous things going on in this world, there's really, on the loving side, there's always the counterbalance. Because believe it or not, we do live in harmony, so that's nature, That's the way we designed it. That's why we got through it without totally fracturing ourselves and the whole reality around us. Because energetically and experientially, there is always a balance here. Always. It's harmony, babies, and you can't be out of tune. And if you are, it so excretes the ears of, excuse the terminology, of the universe that the influence gets rather large, and all of a sudden it's corrected, man. Midstream. There ain't nobody that's out of tune in this orchestra. Not a soul. Not a heart. Especially not each one of you and me, because we're just like, the center of the symphony, right now anyway, and how, babies, so that everybody else can hear it too. We open up the tunage that makes our heart lodge. We live it, even long after that 3-5 minute song has gone away, there's an energy of it still at play inside of our high. And it's unifying our vision of ourself. And baby, as we unify in this way, the world around us does it too. That's living proof of what I say and rap away about all the time. That we are indeed the creators and the creation living in it, the experience of life, love in motion, babies. A wave on the ocean of life, feeling every little movement, Every little redirection of that spirit wind from those billion beams or so that are playing it on with us too, and sending that windy influence our way. Sometimes we feel like a tumbling tumbleweed because we get unstuck in life sometimes. And the tumbleweed effect comes into being because then the influence is pushing you around, because like the tumbleweed, you lost your root with the ground. And so you get pushed around by the wind until you pile up against the fence somewhere, and that's the end of it. Except that you rot down and become about 15 billion more tumbleweeds, and your energy goes on forever, no matter what the wind does or how far it blows your progeny. You know, we're meant to break and scatter like that. That's why the wind exists, to bring us along through it and give us some motivation to get on with the regeneration to the place where the tumbleweed is like the sparkling forest of love, and there ain't a sticker on one of them, man, you know, let alone a seed doesn't need to, you know. We're the breed, we're the life, we're the thunder tumbleweeds, man, you know, the phoenix effect, man. You set these tumbleweeds on fire, they don't burn, because they're already on fire, but maybe they just blow out your match and laugh at you, man. That's simply the effect, and in a metaphorical sense, that a peaceful heart has on the military reality, the harsh one, you know. I mean, that's the kind of effect you have on it. You just blow out the match and get them laughing about it, man. And all of a sudden, all that evil desire dissolves away. And nobody wants to destroy anybody. Nobody feels bad about anything. It's all just what's gone down, and guess what? We ain't hanging around back there anymore. We got a whole new recipe, a whole new formula that we carried with us all the way through, but didn't think we could ever do. Well, here it is right now, and how? Yeah, Grandpa helping you right down the line, just like I always do now, babies. Ain't I cool? Well, I'm a frail old fart, too, in my own way, you betcha. And you see that day after day if you tune in here to the Coyote Medicine Show. I don't hide much. I don't hold back. You know, some of the extremely personal stuff, you know, you just don't talk about. But, you know, baby, basically, I'm a naked DJ here each and every day. Even though I'm wearing clothes, man, I'm naked beneath these clothes, and I expose. You know, without having to unzip or unbutton or anything, I expose the whole thing, man. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I try to be real with you because I know you're being real with me, and we all love the rock and roll and the medicine of the Coyote Medicine Show. On the Hazy Radio Network, we love you so. We do, baby. And you feel it coming true, see? Because if I speak of these things in a little different level, a little different way, you know, lights start coming inside our heart all the way around this earth, you know. And this is why it becomes a new ride, because we're feeling and seeing, understanding the experience of it in a whole new light. It's called becoming a multi-dimensional presence. And you just have to come unstuck like the tumbleweed for a while and let the breeze blow you into it. See, the tumbleweed has no feet. It has no way of moving itself around. It depends totally on the wind, man. And see, so there we are. And see, so we're kind of in a space along those lines right now as we blossom out. Of course, we're just blown right into it. But we're in a space the same as the tumbleweed, to trust that old wind to bring us right to the right place at just the right moment, to be just what we are, and to set forward the progeny of our ever-abundant reality, you know, blossoming and growing again until the tumbleweed is everything, and everything is the tumbleweed and the wind that compelled it into being in the first place and gave it the energy of the unrooted reality to roam around in for a while. Sometimes the tumbleweed got to feeling so huffy about itself, it thought it was the wind, and guided and directed itself, and by golly, if in the end that wasn't true. But not in that huffy sort of way, in that puffy, fuzzy, warm sort of way. It says, wow, I really am the wind. I'm the sky and the earth. I'm the tumbleweed and the fence that stops him, and the ground that the seed falls upon and grows again, and along comes some more tumbleweeds and a whole lot more wind, and you know, wow. And how, man, drifting along with it. Where is that song when I need it? Drifting along with them tumbling tumbleweeds, baby. That's what we've been doing. Yes, indeed. being just an unrooted little tumbleweed, moved around by these influences, and how, for quite a while now. See, we had to know what freedom felt like. Freedom to be what? A tumbleweed moved by the wind, the influences of the great mystical reality around us. To forget that we were like rooted down in creation. And even though we've set a part of ourselves free, the root exists. It doesn't go away. It's there forever, and we're still then mystically attached to that. And wherever the tumbleweed flows and wherever it grows, somewhere way back there, there's a single root still in the ground from where we all begin. And I got to tell you what, it's about to be found, so that humanity can have some reassurance that it's okay to bring itself around. You know, there is still some fear here, you know, especially in the powers of the ever-present dark world and all that stuff. But the henchmen in there, you know, the players, they're feeling the pinch, you know, but they don't, you know, quite frankly, they're afraid of assassination or, you know, because they had some pretty cruel plans and wicked for the people. And, of course, they can't help but fear that might backfire on them and they'll become the ones whose heads will roll, as they say, you know, but it's, you know, going away, baby. So, you know, just practice on that today inside of yourself, just being alive. Just feeling the sweet softness inside your hide and knowing the strength in that simple view, that simple heart that you do. You see, it's really, it comes right down to that, you know, and as you do, you'll learn to rise above any fears or reservations that you might have, you know, because it'll prove itself to you again and again. The more you live in it, the more you are of it, and the more it's demonstrable in the reality around you. This is the blossoming I speak of, as the old ways fade away and the real ways come into play. The unity of life, the lack of division. Sometimes I compare it to the caving in of the universe around us until we just become one big old ball of light, all gathered together. All the vastness of the universe without space between it, you see. It's a singular moment, a singular life in that sense. But because it's created itself so vastly, it's never alone. Because it's in everything. It's us. And we are that too, that essence of life. Isn't it awesome, babies? The rainbow blossoming now. See, now you know what a free day Friday is. When you start to get it, you're free. And you know why the time clock dissolves away and why you can't go to work today. You got to go play with your family. Your friends that you forgot so long ago that you'll remember now, don't you know? But you've been around them and didn't even know. Either one of you, none of you, you know. But yet, there was this familiarity. There was this sense of a connection. You couldn't deny that, but you walked away from it because it didn't seem real, you know. You couldn't. How could that be? I don't know these people. You know, they're from the wrong side of the tracks anyway, man. What the hell are they doing here? Things like that. Reservations, protections, you know. When you're absent inside of yourself, that's what you got to have. Borders, boundaries, definition immediately, you know, blah, 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 see. And that keeps you away from your family. It really does. Keeps you from doing the loving thing quite often because your mind just won't let you. It's too restless, you know. It likes to think it's the tumbleweed and in control of everything, man. When in fact, the fear is that you already do have control. That's what the real fear is. And that the mind can just let go and relax and let the heart's flow come forward in it. See? And then you become a singular presence again. You're not a bipolar or dyslexic or anything else kind of person. You're just a life alive in a form of what I would call a union. And as that union, then, you know, that means a singular being, a singular energy. And that conception expands through all the senses of division called dimensions and parallels, and they just exist no more because you're in deep understanding love with all that lives. And this billion or so beings that exist in your little stadium of love, you know, are right there with you. I mean, it's a known presence. It's not just something gnawing at you in the background anymore, or an influence. It's a united life. Because every one of those billion are you too, you understand? They've experienced you enough through all these ages and generations. that there is no difference. No matter what form of figurement they've taken or whatever you are right now, that consciousness is a singular presence and a singular experience shared by 1,000,000,001, eh? You the one, baby. Jeez, us. You the one, see? Us. One. See, everyone is that center of the universe and got that billion lives with it, which is yourself. Which, of course, then, as you see that, again, another level of it comes into play and expands beyond the stadium to include all the stadiums across the vast nature of that beautiful city of light where all this takes place, you see. And then, of course, there's an expanded reality around that. And another one around. See, we got a lot of melting away of division to do, wouldn't you say? And it's really just about accepting the larger vision as you see it and live in it presently. It's amazing medicine. It's Koyote in every way. Because it's the last thing you'd expect, but the first thing you knew for sure in your heart when it came, when it started to happen, this is real. I don't have to deal with the superficial anymore. That's the metaphor of walking away from the disappearing time clock today. Life becomes more or less automatic for you now, and you move in the direction and flow of the genuine intention of the collective heart that you are and all of your personal forms of expression. Ooh, baby, see, we've been taught to fear that greatly. That's way too grand for a human being, right? Because that's our truth. And others sought to keep it from us so that they could be that. Well, we all are, dummies. Wake up call, yo, right here on the Coyote Medicine Show with Grandpa Coyote and a well-settled down Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thanks for the tolerance of his whiny weenie dog existence here. He's such a cool dude, you know, and in his heart he's got it clear, and so do you now, you know. Go take a look in the mirror and see if you don't know something you didn't notice before. Oh, and pay attention when the rock and roll moves you, man. That it gets you in that groove where you always wanted to be, babies. You know, this is Free Day Friday, and it's up to you to set yourself free. Do what you know you want to do today, because it's the end of a work week and the beginning of play day. I'd say, man, I wouldn't call this a weekend. I'd call this, the dynamic beginning of a whole new rock and roll reality, wouldn't you? Ooh, babies. We're getting it clear here, dear, on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote. A whole raft of angels, bunch of ancestors hanging out, you know, the green room here at the Spaceship Love, which is rock and roll heaven. So anybody we need to conjure up for magnificent performance, baby, you just send the love you this way, and baby, you'll hear them at play, because they're here, babies, and they're lined up, and some of them get anxious, even though we feed them a lot of weed, man, and try to keep them calm, but ooh, they just love to play. They're like horses that love to ride, you know what I mean? They just they're there at the gate waiting for you when you bring the little handful of grain and the niceness of yourself out there. Get ready to go cruise on the high trail. Life is a highway, babies, and we are the flyway that gets to the highway by flying, wouldn't you say? In other words, lighten up. It's Free Day Friday. Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday. On the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote and friends. Vibe Tribe. Shout out to everybody in the chat room this morning, babies, and all the rest of you tuning in out there on your telephones and computerized radios across this planetary reality. I think I'm beginning to see a smile on Mother Earth's face, don't you? Ooh, gosh, she's a great mama. I love her so, man. I'm so passionate for her, you know what I mean? Oh, we love you so, babies. Don't you know?
Now give me silver, blue, and gold.